Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. Day off today, Columbus Day. He's dead. We still celebrate him, though. Okay. Anyway, we are at October the 13th, 2025. We're going to get to Hebrews chapter 5, maybe, with the great high priest. We're going to redo that chapter. We've got the whole series for Hebrews ready to go out on DVD and missing one chapter. So I'm going to redo it. I added a bunch of stuff to it. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We're on a bunch of channels. We're on Instagram and Rumble, on Facebook, on TikTok, Twitter. I don't understand all that, Joseph, but you really get them shorts out there. Some of them really taken over by storm, aren't they? Is it making the atheists mad?
I hope so.
Oh, good. Hope so too. Yeah. Maybe they'll rethink their dumb position. You're related to a banana. Yeah. Why do you eat them? Okay. So be sure to subscribe to all our channels, and it's all free. We want to help you. Okay. If you're lonely, have problems with a family or something, want to join us, we'll be your family. Come for a Christmas or anything like that. I forgot to move that over. Hebrews, there it is. Hebrews chapter 5. Redo. Maybe if we get there tonight. Got a special guest. Come join us for Thanksgiving. Join us for Halloween. We're going to call it the Fall Festival. Fall Festival. You can join us. Honor the Vets Day. Come on down for Thanksgiving. We'll be your family. It's free. What do you want? Cabins, fishing, boating, tours, 5 miles of trails. Our new Noah's Ark going up, looking good. Join us for Christmas. Come on down. If you're lonely, hey, we'll be your family. Come on. We got a family with 8 kids just came in a few minutes ago. They're getting in settled in cabin. What number are they in, Titus? Cabin. Doesn't matter. Okay. Tens of thousands of visitors come from all 50 states and 84 foreign countries. And if you don't have family, we'll be your family. Lots to do for all ages. We have visiting church groups come, bring the whole church down from so far from Texas, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Mississippi. They spent 3 days, used typically, in Alabama, and have a blast down here. Let's see. There are lots of activities you can do. 17 ponds for lakes and ponds for fishing, swimming, boating. 3 zip lines over the lake, plus 3 more zip lines that are pretty cool. Feed over 3,000 meals a month. You just want to help we want to get the gospel out, okay? Whatever that takes. Come try to break a record at Dinosaur Adventureland. Yeah, try to break my record for shooting a rubber band the furthest. Hey, there they are. What's this? The back row? Back row Baptist? Well, you got 8 kids. Okay, but kids they make noise. Whatever you think, brother. All right. DA is the perfect place for family reunions, conferences, revivals, retreats, or advances if you're going to advance. Church camps, scout camps, etc. Hey, today or yesterday, we're not sure when, had a new baby born up on our North 40. Now, even though the donkeys are running free with the sheep, the cows, the squirrels, the raccoons, the possums, the armadillos, this looks like 100% donkey. Apparently, they know what to mate with. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah. Tortoise, Turbo, our African spurred tortoise, looking for a wife. Need to find one for him. It's a Baptist church science teaching camp, okay? It's not a cult or anything else. They're so desperate to make us look bad, okay? One guy said, oh, they kill people. They got skeletons there. They're plastic skeletons. We bought them online. Okay, it's for a display. Okay, no pedophiles here, no drugs or alcohol. Great place for kids to come. In Colgate, Oklahoma, we just found a pair of tortoises. There they are. And now we need to get them brought here to Lenox, Alabama. You got to get them out of there by Friday. If you'd like to help out, if you live anywhere near Colgate, Oklahoma, COAL, like the mineral, let me know. Call me right away, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. Say, I'll bring them down to you. And let me know. I got a couple folks maybe going to be able to do it. Want to charge a bunch of money. We shall see. Okay. Try our newest unusual swing. Billy, did you see the seats that came in for that thing? Oh, they're not on it yet. Dune buggy seats. They're going to be cool. Let the kids try. So Dad said, don't go that way, but they didn't listen. We have lots of science lessons we teach. Told Dad to save him $50,000. Hang the picture on the kid's bedroom wall. I'll show you all that later. A horseshoe crab, come see that, 67 foot. Still need a name for our crab. If you got a mother-in-law, you want to send a suggestion in, let me know, okay? 5,000 kinds of crabs, and they might have had a common ancestor called a crab. Perfect place to learn some real science, too. See, the Earth is 6,000 years old. Dinosaurs lived with man. There is no geologic column, does not exist. All the layers formed in 1-year flood. Nearly all of them. Some layers still form today. Grand Canyon is a washed out dam formed in a few weeks. Evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. Learn how to defend your faith. We got lots of stuff up online. Come help us finish Noah's Ark. And visitors from all over the world, 30 cabins you can stay in for free. What else you want? What cabin did they put you guys in, brother? Cabin 10, all right. That's big enough for all of you? All right. I mean, it's not, Taj Mahal Hotel or whatever they call that thing, but it's pretty good. Okay, we have a guest on tonight. Dr. Steve Ingersoll from Michigan is going to come on, and I heard about his ministry just a little bit. I'm anxious to hear a whole lot more. So, Dr. Steve, thank you for joining us. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Well, I'm trained as a developmental optometrist, and my work is really the cognitive aspects of visual function. That is to say, we help people learn more efficiently, and we've developed a teaching model that speaks to and is associated with the light that we create in our minds. That is lighted scenarios. We see with our minds, and that's really the operating system of human consciousness. If
Right.
I ask you any question and you know the answer, it is because imagery appears in your mind. You construct lighted scenarios. And so when God blew life into the universe and indeed into Adam, he blew this extraordinary capacity to see through time and space, which is unique to human beings. That's what gives us dominion. The tool of dominion is the ability to predict. If we didn't have that, we'd pretty well be extinct, I think. We don't run very well. We barely swim, don't fly at all, have no claws. We should be extinct, right? Except for we have this extraordinary little pixie dust of God that allows us to see through time and space. And we can defeat the other creatures because we know where they're going to be. So we don't exist in a stimulus response in the moment like all the other creatures. Like I can control my cat with a laser dot.
Right.
The cat's behavior is determined by external stimuli. You will not play that game with me because you choose your behavior and are therefore culpable. The cat kills a bird, could be a laser dot, same behavior. I kill a bird, I have made the decision to kill the bird. I'm culpable. So I choose from within using this predictive mechanism of imagery. And it is really the source, the basis of education. There's only one reason I point my eyes at text. It's not the words. It's the imagery that the words spark that
Right.
is the fruit of education. And so really thinking is a visual event. Language is a description of that thought. And our whole educational system seems to be pointed at language, ignoring the primacy of visual thought. And that is the gift that separates man from beast. We have this capacity, well, God created the heaven and the earth, and it was without form. It was without any sign of intelligence until he brooded over the waters and declared the universe into existence by saying, "Let there be light." And he put some of that light in all living things. And all living things produce what are known as biophotons, little packets of light. And that's really what happens in mitochondria when we're metabolizing glucose, is we have these little pulses of light, and they happen to be of just the right energy values to inform our physiology. So it's the light that God created in the beginning is the fuel of all interactions, physical interactions and biologic interactions, the instruction sheet for all those interactions, and indeed the substrate of all matter. Like, let's say I took a block of ice and I jiggled it to the point where it melted. It's water now, but it's still H2O. And I put some more energy in, the molecular bonds break, and I've got a couple of hydrogens and an oxygen, free atoms. And I take that hydrogen and I shake it vigorously until the nucleus is annihilated. What's released? The answer is light. And it's not just any kind of light, it's a specific wavelength of light energy. It's 700 nanometer light, meaning the distance from crest to crest is 700 nanometers. It's quite accurate to say hydrogen is frozen red light. And every element of the periodic table has a spectral specificity like that. That's really the basis of mass spectrography. That's how we tell what things are. When we annihilate them, the matter, they convert to pure energy, and it is the form of light, and that light signature exists from 380 nanometers to 760, which just by coincidence happens to be the sensitivity of the human retina.
Right.
Yeah, just a coincidence. So not only did God make everything out of his initial pronouncement, but he made man's visual system exactly match that pronouncement of the electromagnetic spectrum, which, of course, it's a coincidence, right?
Right.
And so anyway, that what we're studying, what we work on, and what we help people with is the ability to construct imagery in one's mind for the purpose of education, and of course to be able to fulfill all of our destinies, which is of course to be able to make choice and then teach choice as well. So that kind of gives you a background of what we're doing, and I've started a number of schools over the years, and they've been highly successful. We've produced the highest percentage of students that make proficiency in the public arena. But our mission now is to help churches start schools. So we're the public system is just not savable, it appears, and so I think that it's high time for parents to take the education of their family into their own hands, and it's certainly, and so that's and we're of course there. People say, well, I'm skeptical about the Bible because I'm a scientist. Well, then you don't know enough science is the real answer there, because they're absolutely coincident. The more we learn about quantum physics and light physics and science in general, the more the Bible is proven true. So we believe in a coincidence that is the Bible is speaking the same language as science. We're just not very good at our science yet. Every time we get a little advancement, it appears that Moses was one heck of an astrophysicist, because he got it exactly right. And the more we learn about, brooding over the waters, God brooded over the waters. Well, it turns out, you may mistake me for a single person, but really I'm a collection of multi-trillions of cells floating in water. I'm a community. All of the life is inside cells, and they're floating in water. And it is light that signals the vibrational frequencies that inform the coordination of those cells. And of course, it had to be light. Somehow these trillions of cells know what to do. And they not only know what to do, they know what to do remotely, and don't appear to have any respect for time either. For example, tomorrow morning at about 4 o'clock in the morning, a bunch of cells on my adrenal cortex will start acting funny, as will some spatially disparate cells in my pineal gland, and they don't have any direct physical connection with one another, but they'll start vibrating, and pretty soon catecholamines will flood into my blood, and I'll wake up because of that. So these cells somehow start acting in anticipation of something that hasn't happened yet. And they act differently in the fall than they do in the spring. They act differently when I'm 10 years old versus my 72 years old that I'm now. And how do they know how to do all of that? The language that informs them must be a language that transcends both space and time. There's only one thing that we know about that does that, and that's light. As light travels towards the speed of light, space extends to infinity, the Lorentz transformation equations, and time shrinks to zero. So that's the only thing we know of that transcends space and time is light. It's got to be the language, and of course, it's the creation, it's the guidebook, and it's the fuel of life.
So the
And
Bible says men love darkness rather than light. How does that tie in right here?
well, the Bible tells us to turn away from the darkness and turn toward the light about 150 times or more.
Right.
I mean, I need a few more bricks in the face here before I get the picture.
Okay.
So it really is physiologically all about light, but spiritually it's about light too, and the light of God permeates everything, and we know in science maybe a thimble full of that'd be an exaggeration. I mean, we must realize that this ridiculous idea that you can prove something with mathematics, for example, mathematics is tinker toys. I mean, it's you know uh, it's a construct that we made up that is it's simplistic, terribly simplistic, and it's not really accurate. I mean, I might say it's not quantitative. I mean, we pretend it's quantitative. I might say, well, I've got a long board. Oh, and then I might get a measuring stick and say, oh, it's an 8-foot long board. Well, is it really 8 feet? Or is it 8 feet and 1/32nd or 1/64th or 1/28? There's no limit there. It's at some point we just say, well, close enough for
Close
building
enough.
houses.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's us. Well, like in optometrists, when we examine people's eyes for eyeglasses, we say at 20 feet, close enough. Well, that's not quite right, but that's how we operate. At some point, you have to draw the line between zero and infinity and say close enough for human beings, and but it's not really quite exact. Nothing that we do is exact, and so we have to make allowance for that and at least acknowledge it. So the atheist might say, "Well, I can prove it mathematically." You don't even know what math is the answer.
There
You
you
know,
go.
so
Now, have you done debates with atheists? You try to straighten them out, or what?
oh, not much. Some, mostly friendly conversations, but it's an absurdity. I've got some friends and acquaintances who, are sort of what they call themselves objectivists, Ayn Rand, and I say, well, do you believe in X-rays? Or do you think X-rays are a fiction? They're beyond your sensory capacity, but of course you believe in them. So your entire thesis of reality is only that which can be sensed is absurd. I
Right.
mean, it's absolutely absurd. You can't tell me that you don't believe in gamma radiation. I mean, if you do, then not very schooled. I mean, and you've had X-rays, you know they're real. You know that exists, yet you can't feel it at all. You can't sense it at all. So the thesis that if I can't sense it, it can't be true is completely illogical, completely absurd. And the whole argument of entropy, of course, not one example in the entire history of our scientific observations has something moved from disorder to order. It's always disorder,
Right.
except for the creative event of God, except for life. Life is the only thing that moves anti-entropy, and you can't get around that. There is no way you can get around that. There are no examples, as you pointed out. The donkeys seem to know who donkeys are.
Right.
You know, I mean, none of our actual observations support anything but creation by God.
I know they don't get it though. But
I
brother, was it your work where I read that the human brain, the number of synapses in the human brain making all this light connections is greater. The number of synapses is greater than the number of stars in the known universe
Yeah, that's right.
in one human brain,
Right.
and that just evolved by chance.
Yeah, exactly. And all of the perfectness that has to go on in order for our physiology to. The smart part of me is certainly not my consciousness, not my education. I mean, if I eat a piece of bread, somehow my body, in a way that I can't even fathom, goes through the glycolysis. It gets changed. It turns into glucose. That goes through the 10-step glycolysis to break a 6-carbon sugar down into 3-carbon, 2 pyruvates, and they go through the Krebs cycle. That then the electron transfer. The complexity of the biochemistry of eating a piece of bread
Right.
is what we know. Our model of what we know is extraordinarily complex. And at each of those steps, we have no idea. We have zero idea of how we can measure it. We can measure the amount of energy that's used and the chemical reactions that are happening, but we have absolutely no idea why it happens. No idea, whatever. And it's just too complicated for us. And, and to not acknowledge that is the ultimate hubris. It's like, we followed a breadcrumb trail and then believed that we laid it out somehow. I mean,
Right.
it's just crazy. And
Well, tell
so,
us if you can tell us how this applies to you starting schools. What are you trying to accomplish with the schools?
well, we study how people learn to learn, and their success. The difference between successful students and unsuccessful students, and that's a wide range. I'll
Right.
also talk about different behaviors like dyslexia, attention deficit, autism. These are not conditions. These people are doing something differently, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for everything. There is no purposeless behavior. Take, for example, if I were to, well, let me just ask you, tell me, what is 7 plus 6?
Yeah. 13.
Now, the next question is, how do you know that it's 13? What mental strategy did you use to get the answer?
Well, the lower, smaller numbers you can simply memorize up to 100 when you're a child, But
That's
after that,
so. In other words, you know the answer because you just saw the equation in its entirety.
in my mind, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you created a visual event, a visual scene of that symbolic expression. Now, if I ask a child if I ask someone in your audience that is kind of afraid of math or not very good at math, they might say something like, well, 7 and 7 is 14. Therefore, 7 plus 6 must be 13. Or they might say something like, well, 7 and 3 is 10, and there's 3 more left over, so 13. So, in other words, there's all these different strategies of thought
Right.
that 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 differentiate efficiency versus inefficiency in getting the job done. Like I might say to you, how do you spell? Well, let me give you this example. I'll ask you 2 questions. One will be easy, one will be hard, and then that'll make my point. So here's my first question. What is the number that comes 3 before 97?
3 before 97, 94.
Yep. Now the tough question. What is the letter that comes 3 before L?
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
I have to go through the alphabet, wouldn't I? A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K.
Do whatever you got to
L.
do.
Okay.
3 before L.
Oh, 3 before L. Oh, I said K comes right before L, but let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I never thought of that one. H, I, I.
I is the answer. Okay, let's
Okay.
analyze what happened here. Let's say I drew 2 vertical rectangles, and in rectangle A, I put 97, 96, 95, 94 in vertical. And then I put L, K, J, and I in rectangle B. The symbolic complexity of the numeric sequence is actually twice as complicated. There's twice as many symbols. But you had way more difficulty with the single digit alphabetic characters
Right, right.
because your thinking was different. You use if we were doing a functional MRI of your brain, we'd see 2 different areas metabolically light up. There's what's called the dorsal stream, which runs through the parietal lobe when we're imaging, and the ventral stream when we're speaking to ourselves, which is exactly what you did for the alphabetic question. So you used your mind in a visual way for the visually based number problem and instantly had the answer. When I asked the alphabetic question, you did not visualize it. Instead, you spoke the sequence. And when that didn't produce good result, you started moving your fingers.
Right.
So you used a auditory and a kinesthetic strategy to get the answer. That was the reason for the difficulty. It's not that, of course, it had nothing to do with your intelligence. I mean, you're a doctor, you're an intelligent person. It has nothing to do with intelligence, all to do with thinking strategy. Now, the question is, so if I asked you, if 3 before L type questions were critical for your academic success, you'd be the guy that was struggling in school,
Right.
right? Because your strategy's not right. So then the question becomes, why the different strategies? And the answer is epigenetics. That is to say, at what point in development am I, maturity-wise in my brain structure and intellectual development, at the time that the environmental demand came my way? The reason you did the auditory process for 3 before L has to do with how you first learned the alphabet with the sing-song. That's
Right.
exactly why you did that. And so we learn to do almost everything at the point of demand. And there's a hierarchy of maturation. The brain essentially matures inside out, bottom to top, and back to front. And this frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex, is the visual. That's what's metabolically active when we're creating visuals. So if you try to press written language onto a child that is not yet visually competent in their cognitive sense, and I'm not talking about eyesight, I'm talking about the ability to create imagery. That child will first resist, try to avoid, because he doesn't have the maturity to do it. But if we keep pressing, the child will become a sequential verbal thought thinker for the stuff of school. They'll count up the math facts.
Yep.
They'll spell words the way they sound instead of the way they look. So because becomes BEKUZ or something like that. And they become serial phonologic decoders when attempting to read. They sound out words all the time, over and over and over. And most of the reading exercise becomes a decoding exercise as opposed to an imaging exercise of the meaning of the triggers.
Okay.
So timing is a really important factor in education. So what I did was taught all our teachers to become what we call them as I want you to become a diagnostician of thinking strategy as opposed to a deliverer of data. In other words, don't press visually incompetent or yet to be visually competent children to handle those marks on a page, which, by the way, cannot be touched and emit no sound. In order for you to be successful with written symbols, you must approach them visually, or else you have to come up with some obtuse, inefficient thinking strategy like serial phonologic decoding, counting up the math facts, these strategy things, and so forth. So, in other words, we really need to work on children's visual development before we teach them to do the stuff that requires visual
Right.
capacity. And that's kind of the basis of our educational model. And it worked like a charm. We produced the best test scores in the state of Michigan. We had 8 schools, about 6,000 kids. And the Michigan Department of Education did a 4-year study. Uh, there were about 20 educational models in Michigan at the time, and it wasn't even close. The bar graph is here's us, here's everyone else. I mean, it was not even close. So then the governor called me and said, "Hey, how about we do a whole bunch more of those?" And I go naively, "Sure." And that was a stupid move. That brought the powers that be, and I know you've suffered some of that as well. And so, if you get good at what you're doing, don't be too good at it,
They'll
because
shut you up. Yeah.
yeah, and so then they attack the teachers union, and yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you and get your material? Or do you want to do that? There are a lot of viewers on my channel, so you may not you may not want to do that. But
Well, we've got a number of different clinics and schools, and we've moved away from public education to go because our mission, we have a Christian uh,
right.
worldview, and so it's a natural fit in. We have churches with all kinds of open space during the week. That should every church in the land should have their own school,
Amen.
and parents should be free to pick their school as freely as they pick their church.
Hmm.
And every church can have a school. We know how to teach the parishioners and the teachers and adults. Anybody can learn this. You do not need a teaching. In fact, what we found in my years of training thousands of teachers, I prefer the recent grads to experienced teachers. They're easier to because you have to retrain them anyway.
Right.
What they're taught is not correct. So Iconics, ICONIX, learning clinics is probably the best way to. It's iconicslearningclinic.com. Is
Spell that one more time. Joseph's going to put that on screen for everybody.
Yeah,
Uh,
Iconics with an X. Iconicslearningclinic.com.
did you
Uh,
get that, Joseph? There
and
it
we
is.
have a
Iconics
variety.
Learning Clinic.
Yep.
Clinics. Is it clinics plural?
No,
With an
it's
S at the end?
that's correct right there. And we have a number of other websites and schools, and but that'll get you to see what we're doing, and get you to Dr. Levi and others that are on our team. We have a multidisciplinary team of practitioners, medical, optometric, chiropractic, kinesiology, psychology, and teachers, parents. We have it's really nationwide. Well, not nationwide. We're not everywhere, but represented across the country and
Okay.
internationally even. I spoke this morning with there's a school in Bogota, Colombia, that is using our model, and spoke with the headmaster of that school this morning.
Okay, so do you know what is 3 letters before the G in your website?
No, I don't know it either.
Okay. Well, thank you, brother. This has been very interesting. God is light. I think when a person doesn't have Jesus Christ living inside of them, that's going to be another great hindrance to learning this.
Of course.
I,
And
I, I love it. Go
we
ahead.
all have that light inside us, and we just
Yeah.
need to acknowledge it. It's there. We know it's there. We measure it. It's light is produced inside of every living being. And when that light goes out, that's when we're dead. That's when we're dead. Oh, and
Yeah.
by the way, let me. We know that there's a flash of light that leaves the body at death,
Right.
and there's a flash of light at the moment of fertilization.
That's stunning, isn't it? I,
Isn't
I-
it? It's
yeah,
we've
I've seen
measured it.
those.
We've taken pictures of it. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
seen that. It's light. God's light is what animates us and and informs us, and is the substance from which we are made.
Well, maybe this is rabbit trail. You don't need to go down, but they look at stars and they look the wavelength, the nanometers that you mentioned,
Yep,
and claim they can tell what's in the star, what's burning. I think that's probably reasonably scientifically correct.
it
But
is.
somehow they want to tell us the distance to them based on that light.
Well, what they're doing is measuring the red shift or the Doppler
Right.
shift. Like if a motorcycle's coming down the street, the frequency of the sound increases as it
Yeah.
approaches, and the moment it goes past us, the frequency diminishes.
Yeah.
So that's called
Refraction.
a
Right.
red shift. In the terms of light, if the origin of the light is moving away from us, the wavelengths
Will
widen,
stretch. Yeah.
and that's the red shift that they're
Right.
relying on. But
All right.
but
Well, you're in Michigan now. It gets a little chilly up there. I lived in Michigan 3 years, and
yeah,
why don't you and the family come down for in the wintertime to Lenox, Alabama, where it's typically it's pretty cold down here, about 50, 45, 50 sometimes.
well, that
Uh,
sounds pretty warm to us.
yeah, we had snow last year. Lasted about 2 days.
Is
We
that
get a
right?
lot of rain. We get lots of rain, but we don't have to shovel it. We like that part. So
Yeah. Well, that's a generous offer, and we'd love to do that. And Dr. Levi was telling me about that we ought to do a little trip down and see what you guys are doing.
well, it's all free. We've had visitors from 84 countries. We don't even advertise, just word of mouth.
That's
Yeah, put
great.
our stuff back up there, Joseph, would you? My website and stuff. Uh, drdino.com if you want to come down. Our number is 855 Big Dino. And thank you so much for sharing. This is amazing, brother. Appreciate that. If you do come, we try to warn everybody that comes. We have well water here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this. I taught biology 15 years. If you drink well water, your babies will be born naked. So be prepared. Okay.
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 Very good.
Sounds great. Thank you, brother Steve. Come down, visit. We'd love to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right. And for my listeners, thank you. We'll do Hebrews chapter 5 tomorrow night.